G'day guys, Smith City here for Smith City Product Reviews. Well, I'm back with a stout from Woolshed Brewery, brew with a view, firehouse stout with cold drip coffee. It's in a 375ml can. It's 5.6% ABV. Says it contains caffeine, and I'm guessing that there probably says it's the equivalent of one coffee. I haven't read anything yet, so I'm not too sure. These guys are in South Australia, which is pretty cool. I got this at Cork the Liquor. They have two stores, one in one on the corner of Baronia and Scoresby Road, and the other one on Burwood Highway. Please check them out. They've got a great range of craft beer. They've got a great knowledge of craft beer, also wine and spirits. So check them out and tell them that Smith City sent you. So it's 1.7 standard drinks, and they've got a website, woolshedbrewery.com.au. I'm just going to get into a glass, guys, and tell you, a little bit about what's been going on for me lately. So get that into a glass. Pours pretty thick. Smell the coffee, the roasted sort of smell of a coffee straight from the port. Ooh, that smells fantastic. Oh, wow. That smells so good, guys. So it's got basically a one finger. It actually is a fairly tight head. So that should stay around fairly well, for a fair while of the review, and which will probably give it a pretty good mouthfeel. So, very dial back chocolate elements, but they're there. But all you're getting is that sort of that really nice roasted blend of coffee. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic smell. So before I get into it, guys, I'll get into my pelican-like mouth, and then I'll talk about what's been going on for me. Cheers. Ooh. It's going to be hard to describe. So you do get the coffee element with a little bit of, chocolate going on. But what's fascinating is the taste that you get on the back end is almost like the aroma of if you're grinding your own beans. That smell that you get from doing that, when you smell things, you can kind of in part taste them. That's kind of what is happening on the back palate. So you're almost tasting a smelling thing. It's kind of like when you think of something sour, and then all of a sudden, you say salt and vinegar chips, and all of a sudden you get that sort of salivation of thinking about that. It's kind of like that, where on the back end you're tasting what you would smell in smelling something. The head has gone, but as you can see, take the sip and it sort of comes back up, and you can see that's got a really good body to it. This is top notch. So, I've been struggling with my business big time. Just the time and effort that it's taking to sort of keep pushing it in the right direction. For anyone that doesn't know, I'm a personal trainer, and when you start, you have to obtain clients, and then you obtain them, and with the last 2 years of what we've had, it's pushed me back a bit. I've had to sort of dabble in my super when the whole pandemic hit. That was not really to really help me. It was just to buy me time to sort of see if I could really push my business to be successful. But that's dwindled all the way down now, back to, next to nothing. And I've basically hemorrhaged 30 grand in the last 3 years. Where I'm this close to creating my online program, like this close. I've just got one more module and a worksheet, and then I'll be launching it, which will be that beer is fantastic. But I've had to go back to 5 days a week labouring. I made that call last week. So this week I was going back to work full time as a labourer on the shovel, which means that all the clients, I've either had to move them on weekends, or we're still in the process of trying to work out when we can do them, which I'm absolutely really proud of each and every person that I've trained, that they've not made this situation any harder than what it needs to be from my perspective, and sort of being understanding with my situation. But what's awesome is I got a job offer. I got a job offer with my current job, and it's just changing what I do, and I'll be being put on wages for my first ever time. Like I've never really had a set job where I have the luxury of sick leave and annual leave and that sort of stuff. I've never had that. So pretty much my income just from a day perspective, I'm going to start making stuff where I can start saving again, which is great. It means that I can continue doing this without feeling guilty of spending that extra, $20, $30, $40 a week on a hobby that's helping me sort of keep myself mentally regulated, which I do feel is important, because if I didn't have some of these hobbies that I do, I'd probably give up a lot quicker than, well, not give up, but I'd probably go down this path a lot sooner of working for 5 days a week. So what it means though is it means that I can, buys me time to make my business successful, and that's an amazing thing. Like, it's the way I was looking 2 weeks ago. I was looking like maybe I have to just give it up entirely, and it was just one of those things that just didn't work. Obviously I've helped some people, but maybe in my own mind and all the hard work I put in, maybe it wasn't a sustainable thing going forward. And so this still allows me to keep it going without the stress. And I've been go. And whilst I've been dealing with my stresses and sort of been probably the most calmest I've ever been in a very long time with the amount of stuff that I'm going through, like what the next 2 weeks would have looked like without this offer would have been quite stressful. So regardless of me knowing how to manage my stress, it still would have been stressful. So yeah, I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for one, my oldest brother, who reached out to me when I was struggling with my previous job, and obviously I went back to study, and he helped me. He really helped me land the job in the first place. But a big thing, a big thanks goes to Dan and Leah. Like, they got me out of a hole at the right time, as well as my oldest brother. Got me out of a hole at the such a crucial stage in my life. Like, it was, yeah, I don't even want to sort of think about where I was in those moments, but they've helped me get to where I'm currently am, not just from a business or a PT sense, but just as a human. Like, they've been absolutely amazing. And so, you know, like, I've done right by them. I live 2 hours away, and when we're rocking up at his house for like the days where I was working, you know, I'd always be the first one there, and I live 2 hours away, or an hour and a half away, or an hour and 40, depending on traffic. And so, like, he knows I'm reliable. He knows that I'm going to put in the hard yards. And, you know, this is probably the first real time in my working career where hard work is actually getting rewarded. And so, you know, if you're in a similar position where I was a few years ago, and you've never had a boss or a company that have done right by you, just know that there are people out there, and there are companies out there that do have people's interests at heart. And even just from a pandemic standpoint, they were fantastic. Basically, everyone kept their jobs. A lot of effort and time and effort would have gone into making that happen. So both Dan and Leah should be really, really proud of how they've gotten through the last, you know, 24 months, but also who they are as people. They're just amazing. They're just absolutely amazing. Now, that's enough chitter chatter on that, because I haven't really spoken much about the beer, but just thought I'd share that because that's mainly why I bought some beers tonight, because it's to sort of celebrate, you know, having some financial freedom and not having to worry about financial stresses and maybe being bankrupt and not being able to pay rent and food and all the rest of it. So back to the beer. As you can see, it's got a great body to it. Which, because it's like I know it's a stout, but I know like some more skewed coffee stouts can be quite thin. And so the fact that it does have a little bit of body to it is quite good. I'm really happy with this. So, this beer contains coffee. Coffee contains caffeine. I love that. The Riverland's only craft brewery and coffee roaster join forces to produce each batch of Firehouse Coffee Stout. Arrosto Coffee use... Okay, there's no spaces in that particular. Arrosto Coffee use a unique cold extract method to produce a clean and fresh coffee flavour, combined with the classic extra stout, creates a truly unique Riverland beer. Packaging, I'll quickly talk about. I love it. I saw it. That was the first can I saw at Cork to Liquor, and I got it. It drew my interest. The coffee beans and the big bold writing at the front. Also, like the ABV having sort of a rectangle there, sort of makes you focus in on it, as opposed to, I know there's some cans you pick up and you're like, what's the ABV on it? And you're sort of searching for it. So that's good. Yes, I love the packaging. It tells you exactly what it is, and it drew me in. So they've done a really good job with the packaging there. Drinkability at 5.6, and it being a stout, you know, and the fact that it has a body might lead you to believe that maybe it's not sessionable, but it definitely could be. I could see myself drinking a few of these any weather. Like, the fact that it's like, obviously it's a chilled drink, you're going to sort of enjoy having coffees normally, either whether it's hot or cold. And so this is definitely one where you can enjoy all year round, I think. I think it's probably 50-50 if I'm honest. Yeah, I think it's probably 50-50. I don't really think it's skewed to any direction, whether like this is going to be like a winter sort of sip and chill as opposed to something in summer where you can slug back. So I think they've done a really good job there. Look, I've been given some really high ratings, and I keep giving them. And if they warrant a good rating, well then I'm going to give it. So I'm going to give it a 10. So I've been pumping out some really good quality beers of late, and I've been pumping out some really good high ratings of late. But this is a cracker. This is a really good beer, like a really good constructed beer. I know there's some stouts that have got like a coffee element, like a roasted coffee element, but then they might be they might have like more of a yeasty complex, which I don't necessarily like too much. This coffee component to this drink shines. It absolutely shines, and it shines on the back end as well, because the taste you get is almost like smelling that grinded up coffee beans, which is amazing. The fact that you can sort of create a taste sensation that sort of tastes like how you would smell something is an amazing thing. Is an absolutely amazing thing. So absolutely fantastic job, Woolshed Brewery. And obviously they have brewed this in conjunction with Rosto Coffee. Yeah, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So it's a 10 from me. Yeah, I'm just really happy at the moment. I wanted to do this last night, but couldn't get my hands on any stouts. So I got some IPAs at BWS, which I wasn't too... Yeah, I wasn't... If I'd have done that, you would have seen probably not a high rating. So, but I won't say what it was on here. There'll be some people that know what I've drunk, and that's fine. But I also like to give things second chances. So, if I come across that beer at a certain stage later in this year, I might like it a bit more than what I did last night. Just something on the back end of that IPA that just tasted like cigarette butts on the back end. I think without that, it probably would be a really good beer, but I just couldn't get past that cigarette butt taste. But yeah, I won't go into that too much because I'm taken away from this beer, but this beer is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Fantastic, guys. I will catch you on the next one. Cheers.